This week, we bring you deliberations on the success pillars of research and development from the just concluded Research and Development Conference, organized by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Stay with us.
The just concluded second edition of the Research and Development Fair and Exhibition was a successful experience where government officials, industry players, stakeholders, the academia, as well as researchers networked and shared quality discussions over the conference theme, creating sustainable collaboration in research and development in the energy industry and its linkage sectors. The conference had goodwill messages as well as opening remarks by the chairperson, Petroleum Contractors Trade Section, PCTS, Tayo Akinkunmi, the chairman, Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria, PETN, Nicholas Odinowe, the Director General, Defense Research and Development Board, Air Vice Marshal Upu Zezi, the Director, Department of Petroleum Resources, Engineer Sariki Awalu, the Group Managing Director, NNPC, Malam Mele Kolokiari, the Executive Secretary, Ncdmb, Engineer Simbi Kasiewabote, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipriya Silva, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Nasiru Sanigwazo, as well as the Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doyediri, represented by Senator Lawrence Erijakbo.
Research and development is at the core of the industrial revolutions we have witnessed over the ages. An analysis of the global practice of research and development revealed that the combined research and development spend of just 5 countries make up 63.5% of the entire global research and development spend. Africa, on the other hand, accounted for less than 1% of the global research and development spend. You will agree with me that there is a nexus between the spend on R&D and economic prosperity. It is important that countries deploy means of nurturing homegrown research and development and a means of wealth creation and growth. The board recognizes that R&D is one of the key parameters required for sustainable local content practice.
The fundamental role of research and innovation in the development of indigenous technology cannot be overemphasized. Ncdmb has the mandate to develop local capabilities in research and development as a critical enabler for achieving the targets of local content development. The outcome of the fair should be used to energize the industry in local technology development, so that in a few years, we will be talking about locally developed software, equipment, and materials used in all key sectors of the industry operations.
Commenting on the gains of the board's research and development mandate, the Managing Director, NLNG, Dr. Philip Mshebila, gave a presentation on Ncdmb NLNG collaboration on a multi-purpose LNG Research and Technology Solution Center at the University of Port Harcourt, stating that the center, once completed, will be a hub for material development, maintenance solution, product development, testing, and analysis, as well as manpower training, thereby improving the quality of innovation, research, and development activities in the industry. Highlights of the conference were the panel discussions focused on the success pillars of research and development. The first discussion highlighted infrastructure and capability as one of the key success pillars for research and development.
One thing that infrastructure brings is that enabling environment, the conditioning where you are able to test the idea. And with an infrastructure put in place, we can leverage the resources, the capability, and the human capacity we have in country to develop our own solutions unique for our own environment, adapted to the conditions that are inherent in our own environment.
The issue of infrastructure for research. Without the funding, you can't get the infrastructure. If you don't have the infrastructure, training students to be research-oriented becomes difficult, because you are now left with what to use what you have. And what you have is not a state-of-the-art materials or equipments or facilities that will actually make you to challenge yourself and your students to actually carry out the type of research that will really move this country forward.
We designed a model for the assessment of research centers in Nigeria. Of course, that assessment includes requirements such as infrastructure, which talk about buildings, equipment, utilities, staffing, funding, governance, structure, general administration, research outputs, patenting, collaborations, both with internal and external stakeholders, and of course, the literary environment, both internal and also external. Based on those parameters, we were able to determine the infrastructural and capability needs for the proposed centers of excellence.
Legal framework, governance, and enforcement is another success pillar for research and development, as discussed in the second panel discussion.
When we look at research and development, we need to be taking it in the larger context of a national innovation system for development, and that's how nations do it. In Nigeria, I believe we are well overdue for reforms. I know the stakeholders have been pushing for and advocating for they need to improve the environment for IP enforcement and for the IP laws to be updated to current global standards. Also, we've signed a lot of global IP treaties which haven't been enacted. So I say the reforms part is actually pretty, it's required. And that framework is very important.
The Logical 2010, Section 36 to 39 very clearly spells out the importance of R&D. This clearly shows that the oil and gas industry, which is a highly technologically driven industry, will require R&D efforts from time to time to continue to simplify the processes, to continue to ensure that cost initiatives are brought in from time to time. So the need for R&D, as far as this is concerned, cannot really be undermined. So what am I saying in essence? All projects will create that platform for us to continue to push for innovation, which R&D will help us to achieve eventually. Without projects, you can't discuss local content. Same way, without projects, you can't discuss R&D.
Absolutely.
The third panel had their discussion centered around collaboration, funding, and commercialization of research and development, which is also another success pillar.
The first step is to have a sustainable financing template into this NC R&D fund. To do that, the stakeholders, the regulators need to actually evolve a framework, a policy that will require a certain compulsory minimum contribution into this fund. If we know that R&D spending translates to prosperity in due course, then we shouldn't be afraid to do that. Another step we can do is to grant fiscal incentives. It's very, very important. You see, R&D is not beneficial initially, but in due course, the benefits start coming out. So we can grant tax credits to all R&D contributions and expenditure, with the understanding that when it starts yielding the golden egg, then government can take their taxes.
We looked at the oil industry, and many of our IOCs are using aboard engine. And if they are going to the creeks, they will go in and will not be able to come out. So, okay, what will be the solution to that? Just a PhD student in collaboration with TEDFON, Niger Delta University, and South Korea Institute of Technology. We came up with overcraft that moves on muddy ground, and it also works even on water. And then on a very slippery grass like that, it moves. If you really want changes in this our industry and you want our local content, just approach the universities. I'm very happy that our brother, the executive secretary, decided to use Niger Delta University as one of the centers of engineering excellence. And we are assuring him that we will tell them that what they are looking for overseas is found within Bayelsa State.
Some participants at the conference shared the experience.
It's been a very good exposure and a very good experience. And for us in particular in Federal University of Tweke, we have benefited from this type of research and development conference, starting from the maiden edition, organized by the Nigerian Content and Development Monitoring Board in 2017. Then we exhibited our technology on soil remediation, nanotechnology-based bioremediation technology. And so from that exposure, 2017, we got engaged with AGIP. So it is a great delight to also participate in this second edition of the conference.
Local content thrives in developing countries as a result of huge investment and priority attention given to R&D. So this is exactly what Ncdmb are doing. So thumbs up to Ncdmb.
Deliberations at the second edition of the Research and Development Fair and exhibition was a success as contributions were made towards the growth of research and development in line with the board's mandate.